It's not here yet, but reportedly the Mac Pro is coming soon, so hopefully this video can age a little better, because a lot of people have asked me since I did my rant on it many months ago. It's not a topic I talk about often, so I thought in today's video I could explain exactly why I'm planning on passing on the Mac Pro. I think it's interesting, I'd love to check them out at an Apple store, and you betcha I'm gonna be watching YouTubers' videos on them, particularly the cheese grater one, but the Apple Sheep himself is gonna pass, and it's not that it's too expensive. I paid around $6,000 for my iMac Pro, which is just about to hit its second birthday. It's actually more complicated than that, so let's begin. A lot of people, I think rightfully so, brought up an issue they had with the specifications of the Mac Pro, more so with the price point. Obviously, the specs aren't really that bad for a tower PC in how it's going to cool the insides and how much you can spec it up to 28 cores, 1.5 terabytes of RAM. Everyone's fine with the actual performance of it. It's the price point and the starters that have a lot of people concerned. For one, it's starting at $6,000, and at least this one comes with a keyboard and mouse. The last generation Mac Pro, that didn't even come with an HDMI cable. So the fact that this Mac Pro is coming with a silver and black keyboard and mouse hybrid that is currently exclusive to that model only, I'm glad they did that a little bit, but I have to imagine that's not where the extra $3,000 is coming from compared to last gen. What people aren't happy about is 256 gigs of storage starter, and that base GPU doesn't seem to be very good, especially in comparison to the iMac Pro, which is cheaper, but also has a terabyte built in, a whole 5K monitor attached, and both of these start with 8-core CPUs, and the iMac Pro really hasn't even been upgraded that much. Now, obviously, the 8-core CPU on the Mac Pro is better than the 8-core CPU on the iMac Pro, but with all these downsides and the fact that, you know, it doesn't come with a monitor or an all-in-one design, this is just a dedicated tower, it's made me think a lot more about the Mac Pro lately. And if you would have asked me probably a year ago right now if I was interested in the next-gen Mac Pro, I probably would have said yes, because I've been very much looking forward to Apple changing that trash can design and going back to something that's a bit more modular. I was somewhat interested, but what I think you're paying for with the Mac Pro is not necessarily those specifications. Obviously, they're going to launch this thing in a couple weeks or a month, and we're going to see the starting configuration, and it's probably going to be really bad. But that's not where all this money is going. And no, you're not just spending $3,000 on that case. And no, the parts of 256 gig SSD, 8-core CPU, 32 gigs of RAM, and that basic GPU, those do not equal a $6,000 computer. What you're buying are the slots. You're buying the upgradability. That's where most of your money is going. See, in the past, my main interest in a Mac Pro is that someone could buy and configure something to exactly what they see their needs fit to be. That's kind of not what you get with an all-in-one design. You can customize it off the site a little bit, but as you guys all know, Macs are not known for being very expandable and upgradable. You kind of get the parts you get when you buy the product, and then that's sort of it. And what I liked about the idea of the Mac Pro before they actually announced it, and why I was considering it, was because I figured since it's not an all-in-one, since you're not stuffing everything into this very thin, very pretty looking desktop that only has one power cable to power everything, the Mac Pro could be cheaper. You could save money on it, configure it to be a bit higher specs, and then just use some old monitor you got laying around, so you don't have to spend as much as you do on an iMac Pro. And I figured a lot of that money that an iMac Pro is asking for goes to that amazing 5K panel in there. If you don't have to worry about the webcam or the internal speakers or about being thin and portable and all slick, and you could just make a chonk Mac Pro and stuff as much performance in there, I figured that they would launch something around $4,000 to $5,000, except performance-wise, it could blow my iMac Pro out of the water, and all I would have to do is just provide my own monitor speaker setup, and then it would be a home run. But that isn't really what they did. I feel like with the Mac Pro, they went so above and beyond because they wanted to make sure this thing could single-handedly render Toy Story 4 on its own. They went overboard, in my opinion. They went pro, and they went really pro. They wanted to make machines that I think are going to cost into the tens of thousands of dollars. And if you look at some of the maxed out specs that they're advertising with the Mac Pro, we're not going to know for sure until it launches, but I think there's a good chance that the maxed out version could end up costing well over $40,000, maybe even 50 grand, which could buy you a Tesla. But hey, the Mac Pro does have wheels, so you could still drive it, but the advantage the Tesla has, obviously, is the fact that it comes with a screen. Mac Pro does not. So, screen, no screen, I think the answer is obvious. Clearly, everybody's gonna switch to the iPhone 4, the best performance you can get out of any computing device ever created. But aside from that, the expensiveness of the Mac Pro is going towards the ports, the slots on the inside that you can expand later on down the road. And I really only would recommend someone buy the Mac Pro if they're that type of user. You're the type of person that doesn't want to buy a new computer regularly. You want to just buy new parts because this is, of course, an upgradable machine. And the more I realized that, and the more I thought to myself and how my iMac Pro is aging, I realized, okay, so in order to buy a Mac Pro that's actually better than my iMac Pro, between my 2 terabytes of storage, my 32 gigs of RAM, my 8-core CPU, if I wanted to actually get a Mac Pro that could beat my iMac Pro in every way, I'm more than likely gonna have to spend over $10,000 on that machine. And I recently did a 20-month review on my iMac Pro. That was 3 months ago. We've hit 23 months now, and I gotta say, it's holding up great. It has not aged at all, and it recently got a Final Cut Pro update that now supports Metal, which meant that I received a 30% performance boost over a software update in Final Cut. So now videos export faster, the playback is more reliable. They weren't bad in the first place, but I'm editing multiple videos a day that are all 4K at 60, and my iMac Pro is taking them all like a champ. So could I buy the Mac Pro at $12,000 and get a objectively better machine than what I have right now? Yeah, I could. But it's kind of throwing money at something that's not really an issue for me right now. Which is why I've often said, you know, maybe someday, maybe when the iMac Pro starts slowing down, maybe when I'm due for an upgrade, yeah, perhaps in a couple years, I'll consider buying a Mac Pro, and no, it would not be the base model. I would have to upgrade it quite a bit to make sure that it's better than my iMac Pro objectively. But then the more I thought about it, I figured a couple years from now, maybe Apple will update the iMac Pro again. I'm not really sure what they're thinking. There's a good chance that the iMac Pro was just a placeholder before the Mac Pro, because if you look at Apple's revenue, Timmy's not raking in too much cash from the Mac line, so that's why I feel like Apple's giving everybody what they want with the Mac Pro. They're like, look, you don't like our trash can, you don't like our stupid cylinder, fine. Just give them exactly what they want, because we're not trying to make money in this department. We're gonna make all our money from TV Plus subscribers that forgot they got the free year, and they're gonna get charged 12 months after they signed up and go, oh shoot, I should have canceled that, but I didn't. That's going to be 90% of their income next year. It's just people forgetting that they signed up for TV Plus for free. So that's how you kind of know Apple doesn't care that much about something, is when they're just like, all right, you guys want a PC tower? Fine, here's a PC tower. But on the off chance that my stupid hypothesis is wrong, if Apple updated the iMac Pro in the next year or two with thinner bezels, make it look more like the Pro Display XDR, except, you know, include the stand. It doesn't have to rotate, and it doesn't need all the extreme dynamic range crap. Just a 5K panel with thinner bezels, that's all. Thin chin, just make it look nice, make it look normal, update the specs a little bit, give it some more modern CPU and GPU, maybe up the webcam or something, because it's Pro, right? That would be far more interesting to me, because I've honestly tried the PC route before and I don't really enjoy it. I like having to only plug in one thing. I've got my iMac, one power cable, done, it goes in the wall. With a tower, you gotta have your monitor plug in the wall as well as the tower, and then you gotta make room for it. And that Mac Pro does look pretty big. I've done the stupid website augmented reality thing. I would have to make room for it under my desk or on my desk. Not that it doesn't look good, but I mean, I don't need to look at all the, you know, computer parts doing their thing. Some people may like that, and I'm also not the guy that much into upgradability. You guys know I'm the Apple sheep. I do wear socks and sandals sometimes, but I'm not Linus Tech Tips, and I kind of like the idea of just going overboard with your specs a little bit when you buy a new computer to make sure that it's going to last you years and years and years, and you don't have to open it up. You don't have to upgrade it. So I would be far more interested in an all-in-one update than the Mac Pro, because that, I mean, it's not going to be too exciting to just buy new computer parts a year after I bought the Mac Pro, put them in, okay, there, better GPU, cool. No, I would rather just buy a very good all-in-one, have it last me 5, 6, maybe more years, and then after that, buy another great all-in-one that covers everything I need it to and maybe more. So all of this kind of depends on the future of the Mac line. If Apple decides to update the iMac Pro, give it a more modern look and update the performance, I would go for that. But if not, then yeah, you could see me buying the Mac Pro in a couple more years, but not yet. Hence the intriguing video title. Y'all saw that and went, oh, this is gonna be interesting. And I get it, everyone's shocked that, you know, other YouTubers like this Apple product, but Drew doesn't. I know, opinions, it's so weird, right? Anyway, let me know what you think of the Mac Pro, and are any of you out there actually going to get it? I mean, how many of you, honestly? Mac Pro is weird. It's like one of the few Apple products that the president has tweeted about. And they're gonna make it in the United States, which is interesting because they only have to make 5 of them a year, I think. So it'll probably just be one guy. You know, they said manufactured in the US. It's just like Gary in a shop somewhere that just builds them all and then ships them out to the one guy every couple months that buys one. Anyway, whatever you think of the Mac Pro, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or join our Discord and we can talk more about it there. And before you guys go, this video was brought to you by No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sponsored. Otherwise, I would just buy a Mac Pro because money. See you in the next one.